This is my doggy, Pop Pop. Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of Giri's Kitchen. This week I'm going to make omurice, but not just any omurice. I'm going to try to attempt the YouTube famous Kichi Kichi style of omelette, which is the soft, fluffy, gooey, soupy middle in a nice pocketed bed of eggs. I think it's going to be fun, but I'm excited to try. Aside from that, I'll also be making a mango strawberry Daifuku, which I'm really excited to eat after dinner. It's gonna be a lot of fun. If you guys want to see more content from me, make sure you guys click the subscribe button, click the like button, hit the bell button, all those buttons. I would really appreciate it, and let's get into the cooking. First, we're gonna prepare for the mochi Daifuku. So Daifuku is a specific kind of mochi. So when we're talking about mochi, it's actually just pounded glutinous rice that's made into kind of like that sticky paste that everyone is aware of. Mochi itself is an ingredient that you can eat by itself, but a Daifuku is basically mochi where the inside has other things wrapped inside. The one that I'm gonna be making today is going to be a strawberry cream Daifuku. So we're gonna make the mochi skin. So this is glutinous rice flour that I'm using. I'm not gonna spend the time to like steam glutinous rice and then pound it myself with like a rolling pin or whatever. This is gonna be the faster, cheap way of doing it, where I'm gonna be using the microwave today. You can use a steamer, which is more like the more traditional way if you're going to go the glutinous flour route. I don't wanna mess with steamers and have too many pots and stuff all over the place. So I'm just gonna do the microwave method, and I'm sure everyone has a microwave. If you're making white, like the regular white skinned mochi, it's 100 grams glutinous rice flour, 30 grams sugar, and 150 milliliters of water. Today, I want it to be a little bit different and have more color variation. So instead of just white skin on white whipped cream with a red strawberry, I wanted to do a yellow skin with a white cream with a red strawberry. So it's gonna be yellow, white, and then red. I think it's gonna look pretty. To make it yellow, instead of putting yellow food coloring, I'm actually gonna be using mango pulp or like a mango nectar. I'm just replacing the sugar and the water with just 150 milliliters of mango pulp instead. I'm gonna hold my breath and pray that this works out. I'm gonna pour it in, and hopefully everything will work out the way that it's supposed to work out. Just get your regular spatula and just mix it. I'm gonna go off the beaten path a little bit and add a bit more water. When I was looking up the recipe, it's not supposed to look like this. So we're gonna wing it. It shouldn't be a dough, it should be more wet. There are a little bit of lumps, so I'm just gonna use my spatula and see if I can kind of squeeze it out a little bit. And I'm gonna ask Onibro to bring it to the microwave to heat up. Apparently, if I walk too close to the microwave, it'll kind of interfere with my web. Pray please that this works. Onibro, I will tell you what you need to do. Cover it with saran wrap and then put it in the microwave for 2 minutes. Okay, we're gonna have a 2-minute dancing break. So this has been 2 minutes. Ooh, it's kind of tight. What? The microwave method, I put it on highest setting for 2 minutes, and then we're gonna mix it a little bit, and then we're gonna put it into the microwave for one more time, but this time for 1 minute. That will kind of count as the steaming action. If you don't want to use a microwave, you can feel free to use a steamer. I think a steamer might be 10 minutes on high heat if you're steaming it. So this is done. I'm gonna open it up again. And you can see how it's really sticky, but don't worry about it. It's supposed to be kind of like springy. That's normal. I have some cornstarch, just regular cornstarch. If you don't have cornstarch, potato starch, whatever starch, it doesn't matter. I'm going to sprinkle my cutting board. Be generous with your cornstarch. If you don't put enough starch on, the mochi will start to stick to everything, and then it's gonna be a big pain in the ass to kind of get everything out. It's not gonna be a fun time. So this is done, and then I'm gonna do more starch and cover the top. Have a cup here that I'm gonna use as a mold to wrap my Daifuku. So I'm gonna roll it into a log a little bit so I can get 4 equal portions. And the good thing about mochi is that it's quite soft and expandable. We're just using our hands to kind of stretch it out a little bit to make it kind of flat and round. If you have a rolling pin, that's fine as well, but you don't have to. But I'm just gonna use my hands. I'm going to put this aside. It's just a big bowl of water, but there's actually ice in it. The reason why I have cold ice water is because cream heats up really quickly, but it also whips easier when it's still cold. If you're whipping cream in room temperature, if you keep going, you will literally end up with butter. I'm gonna grab my cream from the fridge real quick, and then I'm gonna whip up some whipped cream. So I have just regular whipping cream, 35%. If you have the higher fat ones, those are also nice as well. I actually don't know how much I need, but I'm going to eyeball it. I feel like that is enough. I'm gonna add a little bit of sugar. Normally for like Asian style bakeries that use whipping cream, usually sugar is 10% of the weight of the cream. So I'm gonna eyeball it. But if you like it like a bit more sweet, go ahead and add more sugar. There's no problem with that. I'm gonna hold my bowl against the edge so it won't start moving around and stuff. What I recommend is if you're whisking it by hand, get a bowl that is very, very big for the amount of whipping cream that you're whipping. If you're putting it into a small bowl and you're only using a little bit of cream, you're not gonna have enough space for your whisk to move around and you're gonna end up splashing everywhere and then you don't want a big mess in your kitchen. You wanna hold it this way. You can hold it this way if you want, but I think this way is better. But you want to be really like ferocious with it. Like, I'm so fucking tired, guys. So that's fine. I have a piping bag. If you don't have a piping bag, a large Ziploc bag is totally fine as well. I'm just gonna like shake it a little bit so all the cream kind of goes down to the bottom. Seal the top by kind of pinching a hole and twisting it a little bit. Cut a little bit of the hole to kind of release some of the air and the tension that's been piling up to the tip of the piping bag. So I'm gonna put this to the side. So I'm actually gonna put this onto the bottom of the cup. So I'm gonna put a little bit of cream on the top here. I'm gonna grab one strawberry. These strawberries are really fucking big. That's why I'm using the cup instead. And then I'm gonna push it down a little bit. I'm gonna continue piping the cream. Oh no, I can save this. If you wanna make this easier on yourself, to be honest, you can actually just use the cream, wrap it around the strawberry, freeze the cream first, and then wrap the mochi around. That's actually the easiest way, but I'm purposely going like the hardest way and wrapping it when the cream is still soft and fresh. I don't wanna wait for it to freeze and like waste time, so I'm gonna do it this way. There, that's, it's a little janky, but we're here now. We're here now, we did it. This one is done. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna get a rolling pin. Hopefully this time the edges can be a little thinner. Another dab of the cream in the middle. I'm gonna put the thing in here, squeeze cream. I'm gonna pinch the corners and then I'm gonna turn it onto the side. And then we have another one. we have another Daifuku. That's the second one. Okay, last one. I made the nipple stick out. So now we have the areola and then we have the nipple and then we have the boob. And now we have the third one. I'm going to just expose the strawberry a little bit more. And we have Daifuku. They look ugly as fuck, but they're kind of cute. I'm excited to eat them though. I will set these in the fridge so they can harden. I want perky Daifukus, if you know what I mean. Don't just leave it in the fridge uncovered, because the mochi will dry out if you're not careful. So what I'm doing now is I actually grabbed a saran wrap and I'm loosely wrapping it around my Daifuku just so that there's like a protective barrier around it. We're also going to be making a demiglace sauce as well to go on top of the omurice. So that will also need a little bit of prep. So I'm actually going to prep all the vegetables first. So for the demiglace sauce, it actually requires a lot of onions. So I actually have 2 onions. We're not dicing the onion this time. So just grab your onion. You can chop the butts off. You can just peel the skin off and then just expose the inside flesh. We're gonna be using the small pan. It looks like a lot, but we're gonna be actually caramelizing the onions this time. So it might look like a lot of onion, but in reality, once it starts wilting, it doesn't really amount to much anymore. We're just doing a thin slice. So we're slicing it this way and we're looking for thin slices. The thinner it is, the easier it is for you to wilt the onion. This is how thin I'm cutting it. My eyes are starting to bleed. Look, it's Pom-Pom. Oh God, don't eat that. She's a Pomeranian. She's 10 years old. She makes regular appearances on Wednesday streams because obviously it's the only time I can show her off. Be gone, Pom-Pom. You're done here. If you're cooking for someone else, don't touch your dog or your cat or something and then don't wash your hands or whatever. It's my dog. I'm eating the food. It's fine. For caramelizing onions, you actually want this on low heat. And then I'm just putting some oil in there just to kind of lubricate the pan a little bit. Once it starts to heat up a little bit, I can put all the onions in. I'm gonna prep the carrots while that's cooking down. The oil is hot-ish, so I'm gonna put the onions in. If you're seeing that some things are kind of like crisping up on the edges a little bit, it means that your heat is too high. So make sure you cut it down a little bit. I'm gonna cut this in half. I don't think I need all of it. So you can see how it's browning a little bit. I'm gonna cut the onions, the green onions, into dices because I'm gonna be putting it into the fried rice. I like to make sure that I prep all my ingredients first before I start cooking so that once I actually do start cooking, all my ingredients are done and ready. I'm not scrambling to prepare anything last minute. I have 5 cloves of garlic. I like garlic, so I'm doing 5. You don't have to. I slapped the shit out of it, and now I'm dicing it. This is European wiener. I'm going to cut them, and then I'm going to take the skin off. I'm circumcising the wiener. Traditionally, for omurice and stuff, it's probably going to be chicken or whatever. I don't actually like chicken in my fried rice or omurice, so I'm adding sausage instead because I love my sausages. Am I muted? I hope I am. That was chunky. So everything is done, everything's prepared. I cut my green onions, I cut my garlic, I cut my sausage, I cut my carrots, and I also have 1 tablespoon of butter here. While still on low heat, do not turn your heat back up. I'm gonna put the butter in. So we're gonna be making the roux for the demi-glace sauce. And then we're gonna let the butter slowly melt into the onions and kind of cook it together. And then once that's all nice and melted, we're gonna add in 1 tablespoon of flour. I actually have a sifter to kind of break down the chunks a little bit so it's easier for it to dissolve into the butter. You don't have to do this is optional, but because my flour is like a little chunky for some reason, that's what I'm doing. Don't worry about it if it's clumping. It's supposed to clump with the flour inside. So now that the flour looks like it's fully incorporated and kind of cooked and everything, I have 180 milliliters of just regular plain water. The heat is still low right now, though you don't have to turn it up right now. I'm gonna add in 1 bay leaf. You can actually buy demi-glace sauce in the same way as the Japanese curry cubes are sold. They actually sell it in the cubed form, but it's demi-glace sauce. It's not Japanese curry sauce. And if you're not lazy, you can, and you have like 2 days to work on your demi-glace sauce, you can actually get oxtail and like bones and everything and like reduce it into a really thick and savory stew. That's fine as well. And then I'm gonna have 1 tablespoon beef bouillon. This is the one I'm using. This is just whatever is available at my grocery store. Ignore the fact that I have a ketchup bottle that can feed like freaking 200 people, okay? That was 2 tablespoons of ketchup. And then we have tonkatsu sauce. And then 3 tablespoons of milk, 3 tablespoons of red wine, and then there's also soy sauce. Eyeball it, you can always adjust later on. So now I'm actually going to turn the heat back up to a little higher. We wanna make sure the roux is boiling. We wanna keep this on maybe medium heat. I'm gonna share you guys a secret ingredient to making your own demi-glace sauce. Are you guys ready? This does not leave any mark. If you want to make your demi-glace sauce rich and more deeper in flavor, the secret ingredient is actually dark chocolate. Chocolate will bring up the flavor of the beef and also of the wine to kind of mesh everything together and pull everything together so that the flavors will be more harmonized and also a little bit deeper flavor. It'll add a little bit of sweetness. You only need 1 piece. You don't need everything, not a lot. You only need 1 little piece of chocolate. They didn't have the 70% dark chocolate. The darker it is, the better. They only have 50, so I'm using 50. So it's boiling now. I'm gonna just drop in 1 little piece, not too crazy, just 1 little piece. Just to make sure that everything is really delicious, my other secret ingredient, which is not so secret, I don't know if Teru is still here. Can anyone guess what it is? Just to make sure that everything really ties in together as if the dark chocolate wasn't enough, I'm adding in MSG. You just want to make sure that you're looking for like a gravy consistency and not like actual soup and not like a big chunk of dough or anything. I'm gonna turn this off now. So now we're gonna move on to the rice. So this is the rice that I made last night. To make good fried rice, you want to use day-old rice. So day-old rice actually ends up drying a little bit in the fridge, so it becomes more individual kernels and also give you a better tooth feel when you're biting down. Almost like that al dente feel, like pasta. I do not recommend using fresh rice, but if you forgot and you only have fresh rice, go ahead and do it. And this is cold, okay? Do not heat up your day-old rice in the microwave. You don't have to do this, totally optional, but I actually like to use my like spoon or like chopsticks or whatever and kind of run it through the rice a little bit to break up the kernels so that when I'm actually cooking it in the frying pan, it kind of breaks up a little easier without keeping into large chunks. So we're gonna have the heat up on medium-high this time. I'm gonna put the onions and the garlic in first so that it can start wilting a little bit. Don't worry if the fire is not like fully ready or whatever. I'm just letting it slowly wilt down. And once it looks like it's starting to soften a little bit, but not fully cooked through, I'm gonna add the carrots and the sausages because carrots and the sausages take more time to cook down. And I'm also gonna add in some corn. This is just regular canned corn, nothing crazy. Just a little bit, just for some color. And then I'm actually going to salt this just a little bit to kind of make sure that there is a little bit of extra flavor stuck to the carrots and the corn before we actually add in the rest of the seasoning. And then once this looks like it's doing okay, I'm gonna add in the rice. And then I'm gonna add in ketchup, soy sauce, and salt. So the reason I'm adding ketchup is because omurice traditionally is typically made with ketchup instead of like soy sauce and everything else. But I like to add in a bit of soy sauce just to keep the taste a little bit more familiar. But the main ingredient is actually going to be ketchup to give it that like the sweet and also tangy taste to your fried rice. Ketchup I usually eyeball, but for this amount, I will do maybe 3. And then the rest of the seasoning is going to be carried by the soy sauce and the salt. Okay, I'm gonna add an MSG now because obviously, what is a fried rice without MSG? You never know if Uncle Roger's watching. I don't have the actual molds for the omurice mold, you know, the one that kind of looks like a boat or whatever. So I'm just going to use my spoon and try my best to get it together. It might not be perfect, but we're gonna try. It just needs some height so that the eggs can kind of like cover it. So I'm just gonna try my best to make a nice little mound here. All right, now the hard part, which is the actual omelet part. So for the omelet, what the guy from Kichi Kichi did was he had one big ladle full, and that was the amount that he said. What she said was 180 cc's, which is generally 3 large eggs. One egg usually weighs
50 grams without the shell, like just the egg white and the egg yolks together. One large egg usually weighs 50 grams, so if we're using 3 large eggs, that means it's gonna be 160.
So we're gonna go with 3 eggs. No salt. We're using the demiglace sauce as the actual salt portion. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna need more than 1 try, okay? If you guys saw my TikToks and my other videos, you know why I like to use chopsticks to whisk my eggs. You're not breaking the eggs like this, okay? You're whisking it. We're incorporating air into the eggs. We're not trying to draw circles, okay? This is an art class. A little bit separated. We don't wanna keep the chopsticks together. And you want to push the eggs into the bottom, and then you're trying to scoop it upwards. You're going like this with the eggs. Keep the chopsticks open. And then that's how you incorporate more air, so it's like nice and bubbly like that. So this is fine, this is mixed. I'm gonna turn the heat up to the highest heat, or medium high rather. Oil, moderate amount. You don't want too little because it might stick. And then if you add too much of it, then it might be too oily and too puffy. We don't want that either. A good way to check if your pan is hot enough, just grab a little bit of egg and then draw a line across it. If you can draw a line and you can see it, then it's probably hot enough. Okay, this is good. I'm gonna put it in. And then you can see how it's forming a white lip. That's good. You wanna run your chopsticks on the edges and bring it to the inside. And then shake it as you're cooking it. And then once it's kind of like soupy like this, you can stop, let it kind of relax a little. And then theoretically, you can just kind of push it inwards like this. For the Kichi guy, he kind of goes like this, and then he kind of like slaps the omelet back on itself or something. I can't do that. So I'm going to actually just flip it on itself on this end. I just want this part of the egg where it's still kind of raw to kind of heat up and make sure that's cooked. And now I'm just gonna, it's not perfect, okay? It's not perfect, but oh no, it's slightly overcooked. Okay, Onibro gets the ugly one. I'm gonna see, let me cut it open. It's not good, but it's not bad. Okay, next one. One more try. I have one more try. Let me prepare my eggs first to make sure everything is ready. This looks pretty good, so I'm gonna add it in. And I'm actually not keeping the pan really close to the fire. I'm actually lifting it up higher and lower as we go, depending on how high I want the heat to be. It kind of looks like the real deal a little bit. Seal this. Okay, one more time. It's still gooey, which is good. Oh, it's popping. It's popping already. Okay, it's popping already. I'm going to cut it again. Oh, this one is so much better. That one is so much better. And then I'm gonna put my sauce on, the demiglace sauce. Oh, hell yeah, now we're talking. I'm gonna add the pièce de résistance, a little bit of seaweed, just for some color. We did it, boys. I'm so proud of myself. And there you have it. We just finished making an omurice. I try my best to make it in the Kichi Kichi style. We have ketchup fried rice with a nice fluffy egg, and we also made our own demiglaze sauce. And from earlier, we made our mango mochi with cream and fresh strawberry filling. I'm really excited everything turned out well, and I hope you guys had fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care. Bye.